What's going on? Ryan Troy back with another video for you today. And this one is a real exciting one. I got somebody that I think is going to be real beneficial to y'all. I am joined today with Brandon Cole. What's going on over there?
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy. What's going on with you?
What's going on? First, listen, I want to start by saying I really appreciate you are in the service, you are military in the Navy. I just want to thank you for everything that you do for our country. Definitely got to start it off like that. But love. Now let's get into these questions.
That's love. What's up?
Definitely. For one, how has it been since you've been back? Actually, I know a lot of things has dropped lately. That's in the camera world. Yeah. It's like you came back home and just was like new camera. I know you're a Sony guy, new camera and everything, man. How was it?
What's funny is like when you're on deployment, I remember we Navy, so when you're on deployment, you are out there in the middle of the ocean. We got a little bit of internet. It ain't the best in the world, but you seeing like all this stuff going on, you got a few websites, you might hit a port and get a little bit of internet access and you seeing what's going on, man. It's like you feel kind of helpless, you know what I'm saying? It's like right. Having a child that you can't nurture, right. And you don't have a way to, to fix that itch, and you got all this, you on deployment, so you ain't spending no money, and it's right. Like I got all this money.
But you're stacking up though.
Yeah, exactly. So it was so crazy, seeing, the A1, like when I was on deployment, they had the A1 drop, they had, Canon was, making moves, Nikon was, everybody was making moves, man. It's just like, God, I just want to get back and shoot, and on top of that, with everything that was going on and we had the troop withdrawal, military was pulling out all our troops in Afghanistan and everything. So it was like, we didn't know how long we was going to be there. It was talks of us staying another 2 or 3 months, and stuff like this. So it was like, my biggest thing was we wanted to get back. I wanted to get back so I can do some summertime stuff, so I can get some nice light and everything. And I didn't want to wait until the fall. So, we got back in time, and I hit the ground. And, when I got back, man, I was just like trying to get caught up. And it was so funny that you mentioned that, because out to sea, of course, I got my laptop, I take like my A7 III, traveling, because I ain't taking my big boys on deployment. Right. I'm out there trying to do some shots, of course everybody's asking me to shoot and everything, but there's one thing I just forgot. I forgot how to edit. I was like, because I'm not really shooting models. And if you don't keep up with it, you lose it. So when I got back home, and everybody been waiting to shoot me. I'm glad you're back and waiting to shoot. So I start going to these photo shoots and I start, about to edit the pictures. I'm like, how do I do layers again? Like, how do I do frequency separation? Like, it was all crazy. Like, I even tried to put videos together, and I was just, I forgot so much stuff. I forgot little stuff like cut and paste, and putting music over stuff. So it is what it is, man. But I got caught back up. So that's just one of those things that you have to endure and deal with. So
right. Yeah. So I actually discovered your channel right before you got deployed the last time. But what I did was I went back and watched. So while you was gone, there was like a fresh channel with all of this content for me to watch. So I didn't have to be caught up in like, oh man. But eventually I was like, man, when is he gonna get back? I watched your whole deployment video and everything. So. Before I go into that, I want to go with how did it start? So what was it that made you decide to pick the camera up?
That's a loaded question, man, because I've been in this game for about 7-8 years now, man. And I really don't even remember what drove me to actually get started in photography. But I do know that I do remember having a camera. My first camera was like a Sony like A200, 300, something like that. And I just remember taking pictures, man. And then I started looking at how to make pictures better. It wasn't nothing in particular. I just start looking up how to make pictures better. And then I saw all of these pictures with just this lighting and color and everything. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, how did they do that? It's crazy. Right. And so one thing, honestly, man, led to another. It wasn't no certain order. But I was just starting to read on, the basics of photography and your exposure triangle and, all these different things and inverse square law. Actually, I became a student. When I tell you I became a student of photography, like I became an actual, even with me being in college and, my associates, my bachelor's, my master's, I was a student of something else, so but I was so inclined and intrigued because I just wanted to be able to capture those moments just like those other people was doing. And then, honestly, man, one thing led to another. And I start shooting with friends. I start getting some models to come out doing some free stuff and practicing. And, it just blew up, man, honestly.
That's nice. Now, if it's one thing that I know that you are into is Flash. So when did you decide to, because everybody, some people like me, I started with Flash. Some people ease their way into Flash. Some people kind of get scared of it at first, and then they go. So how was your process with getting into off-camera Flash?
You know what, man? When I started in photography, everybody really starts off as a natural light. Nobody really knows anything about Flash until you actually get into photography. We don't really start off in Flash, but when you start shooting natural light and then you actually start indirectly start learning about photography, and then you start looking up other people's stuff. But then you also see these other pictures that don't look nothing like yours. For some reason, they pop more. Like, what is causing these pictures to pop more? And then you start discovering that these people are using other equipment like lighting and flash and stuff. And I'm like, well, hold on. Like, how do I do that right there? I want that. I don't want natural. I want that. So once you start seeing that, then you start doing more study. Okay, flash. Like, then you start looking up flash, and then you start learning about lighting and mono lights and strobe lights. And, okay, then you start learning about power. Then you start learning about, the inverse square law, light fall off, and like all these different things. And then it's like, okay, I need to do that. Okay, one light. Okay, but now my light is coming. Okay, so you go out and you buy a light, you bring it back, you try to use it, but then it don't look nothing like that. Okay, why is my stuff so bright? What's wrong with my settings? Okay, now I need to get into modifiers. Now I need to look up modifiers. Like, what? Okay, how do I soften the light? Then you start studying about softening the light. Then diffusion panels, deflector plates, and then it goes on. And then you start, okay, now I got that. Now you got the light. Now you go out and you buy a modifier. Okay, now I'm gonna put a modifier on it. I'm gonna go back and take the picture again. And so it's just it's just an ongoing process, man. But Flash is my thing. Like I said, I started out natural light course, but I believe if you want to take your pictures to the very next level, the top level, you have to learn Flash. There's nothing like off-camera Flash, nothing like it, because it's so versatile. There's so much creativity that comes with off-camera Flash, from the lights that you use to adding color, to adding depth, to adding so much more to your image. If you ain't using off-camera Flash, I don't know what you are doing with photography, because you can only do so much with natural light. Go out, boom, take a picture, I'm done. That's not really, it's not really speaking. But when you get that off-camera Flash, man, there's so much you can do, man. So much.
So when you were starting on YouTube, or even now, what's your favorite lighting setup? I feel like I saw a lot of one light setups. I see. Then you also went with like a kicker, maybe like an AD200 in the back. Like, a lot of your stuff when I first saw your channel was one light setups. And I remember when I first started, I'm not sure if you was on YouTube then, because I started back in like 2010. Since I only had a speed light, I was triggering the speed light. I was searching all of this, one light photography. Is that your favorite type to go with, or do you?
So I will tell you like this. I know there's a lot of on location photographers, on YouTube, a lot of content creators. So I will normally use a one light setup depending on what time of day I shoot. And a lot of people have to get into the specifics and understand lighting. Normally, if it's bright outside, No, if I have the sun, depending on the time of day I shoot, if I have the sun that I can use as my rim light, I would do a one light setup. Most of the time that you see me shoot one light setup is because I have a good rim light. It's because I have a good fall off from the sun. Is because I have, you know, the sun with that power that I can use for a really good rim light. So I don't need a second light. If I, the only time I really will use a second light, you do a 2 light setup is when it's like, you know, when, if I'm like at sunset, if I need to create my own rim, if I need to separate my model from the background, I can, that's when I will use a 2 light setup. So that comes with knowing what time of day I shoot. If I walk outside and I look and I be like, yep, I needed 2 lights. That's basically my thought process. I will go outside, I will see how powerful, because not just because it's daytime doesn't mean that the sun is there. You know, it might be high, it might be a cloudy day, but it's like 10, it might be like 12 noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, but the sun's not there. If the sun's not there, I go outside and I look, be like, yeah, nope, not sun is hiding behind clouds, or nope, sun is powerful, or nope. That's how I analyze anything before I go shoot. I go outside and check if the sun is powerful enough to be my rim light, I will use 1 light. If the sun is not there, I will use 2 lights to separate my model from the background. So that's basically how my thought process goes.
So when you was telling me about your story when you first started, you said that you played around with a Sony camera.
Yeah.
Has it been Sony forever?
No, I didn't. When I first started, I had a Sony camera, but I technically went to Canon. So I shot Canon for about 4 years or so. That's why all the beginning videos on my YouTube channel is all with Canon. So I started out with like the Canon. I think I had a T7. I went from there. I went to the 70D. I went from the 70D. I went to the 80D. So the 80D was really my first official like DSLR camera with Sony. And then that's when I learned about crop sensor versus full frame and, you know, the sharpness and everything. I love the 80D. But then when I started learning about full frames, I was like, okay, I need to get a full frame. So I skipped over the 6D and all of the 5D Mark 1, 2, 3. I went straight to the 5D Mark 4. So after the 80D, I started using the 80D for my videos. But the 80D doesn't shoot 4K. So it's a great camera. It was one of the only ones that had the articulating screen to turn around. So I was all with Canon. The 5D Mark IV I absolutely loved it. But that's when everybody was really starting to rock the A7R2. And that's when the eye autofocus was really, really hitting the market. And everybody was like, oh my goodness, like, you mean to tell me I can always get the eyes in focus? I don't need to move the D-pad no more up to somebody's eyes like on a DSLR. I don't have to focus and recompose no more, you know? So that's why Sony really, really hit the market, because that A7R2 was like, it was the thing. That was it. And that's where Sony really made that big splash when we were transitioning from DSLR to mirrorless. And then when I saw that and I started watching videos, one of the main people, of course, that probably influenced everybody was Jason Lanier. He was one of the main ones rocking the A7R2. And I was like, yep, that's the one. And he was there, you know, just having that small mirrorless, small compact, you know, all of that stuff. I was like, yep. And then I sold my A7R4. I sold my my 5D Mark IV, and went to Sony, and I've been Sony ever since, man. So
now, since you got since you went the Sony route with the eye autofocus, right? Was that when you decided to be the king of Boca Nation right there? Was it that reason right there? Because you knew for a fact it always was going to hit the eye and you didn't have to worry about out of focus shots. About it.
You know what I'm saying? That had more to do with, I think that had more to just do with stability, and that had a lot to do with just know that has to do with focusing, man. Just knowing that you're focused and all your shots can be in focus, because that's the biggest thing about photography is the eyes in focus,
Right.
and you just read so many times. And if you shot a lot of DSLRs like we did back in the day, it wasn't always 99.99. It wasn't even 70%, it was really like a lot of times like hit and miss when you were dealing with DSLRs and trying to get those eyes in focus. But when that eye out of focus system came out, that was it. I can get it in, and I can get rid of all these big cameras and lenses and stuff and go to a more small, compact setup. Oh yeah,
right.
The Sony changed the game with it. So once that came out, that was it. But the lenses, when Sony came out with the Sony mirrorless, and then a lot of third-party manufacturers start jumping on board, that's when Sigma has started making the adapters for their lenses. If you remember, like when I had my 5D Mark IV, I had a bunch of Sigma lenses, but the biggest thing was everybody wanted to take their Canon glass and use it on their Sony cameras, and there was no way to really do that unless you got an adapter to put on your Sony camera to adapt your Canon glass. But then Sigma start making the adapters that goes on the back of the on their Canon glass, and being able to use it on your Sony cameras. So I that's when I really was like, it looked so good with that A7R2 and that 42 megapixel sensor, man. And that's when I was just like, oh my goodness, I just love the bokeh that this thing does. I was just like, yep, that's Bokeh Nation, let's get it.
Bokeh Nation.
That's it. All day, boy.
So when I look at a lot of other people on YouTube, it's always certain things that stand out. If you say somebody's name, it's something that's gonna jump
right. Okay.
When I think of Brandon Cole, I think of posing. I think of, and you do a lot of teaching. I see in your videos too.
Yes.
So I definitely see that. That's another thing that you like to do. So you pose, and you also like to teach other photographers, how to pose, how to get the shot. You know what I mean? You do a lot of teaching.
Yes.
Excuse me, in your videos, and I really like that. But I want to get down into this posing because for me, I've always struggled with posing. I started retouching, that's how I started into photography. So when I got a camera, I spray and pray. I shoot, and keep a lot. But you seem like you already know what you want before you even press that button. Can we get into that if you don't mind?
Man, oh my God, I don't even know where to start, bro. I did a video. I did a video about about this that kind of alluded to what photographers need to learn when it comes to posing. And we could be here all day, and I could go from the start to finish on like how my posing process goes. But I'm gonna give you the quick 5-minute rundown of it. So when I talk to a model, and I'm gonna try to break this down as best I can. So when I talk to a model and we are setting the stage for a photo shoot, the first thing that we talk about is the concept. All right, we got to find out what kind of concept, what we're doing. So let's just say for example, we're going to shoot in a we're going to shoot in the alley. We're going to do something grungy, down to earth. We're going to do something really we're going to do something really, hood. It can be, really just whatever. So we come up with this concept, we want to do something in the alley. We want to do something grungy, whatever. So from there, once we set the concept and once we set the stage, we go to the outfit. All right. So I need at least like 2 to 3 looks. So show me what you got. So we go through the outfits now to find out what we want to wear. So once we set the concept, now we got the concept, we got a location, and we got the outfit. Next, we go shoot. So when the thing about it is, when you talk to a model and you're setting your concept, you're setting your location, and you set the outfit, the posing should match all of that. So I have gotten to a point now in my photography where normally if I set a concept, everything matches. And I've seen too often where photographers will just take a model out and just shoot. No concept, no gist of anything. I mean, I've seen people shoot beautiful models in long gowns in like a dirty place with a trash can. Like, it doesn't go really with each other. Like, unless that's the look that you want. I can't tell you what to do, but it doesn't go with each other. So everything has to match up for me. So when I set that concept and we got the outfit, now I can set the posing to how to the whole concept. So I'm going to pose. So when my train of thought works, okay, we're doing something hood, down to earth, whatever. Now I'm going to pose her in the manner of the photo shoot. So if she has on like a hoodie, or a hat, and she got it turned around like this, she do this, I'm going to pose her in the manner, everything is going to work with each other. I'm going to give you that type of pose. And that's the concept that I want my model to drive home also. Same goes if she had a long, elegant dress and we were shooting in like a bar or something like that, or shooting in like a hotel, something really elegant and something really, just what I'm going to pose her in that manner. So the moral of the story is you have to learn to pose your model in the way and try to go with the concept that you're going with. And that's what drives me. A lot of people don't know this, but one of my drives from posing is I'm a performing arts major also. So in high school I did a lot of performing arts. So stepping out of my character, and that's probably why I got one of the best characters on characteristics on YouTube as a photographer, because I really don't care. But that comes with being in front of an audience a lot, standing up, because I do performing arts. So it's nothing for me to get into another character and talk to the models and get what I want to. I'm not shy. I'm not whatever. I don't care. I come out. If I need something from you, I'm going to get it. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you exactly what I want. And I think that's a problem with a lot of photographers. They know that a lot of times they're just shy. They don't have that character. They don't have that people skill in order to talk to models and get, what they want. You got to be able to tell a model exactly what you're looking for, what you want. And then when you get in that photo shoot, you have to take control. You can't let a model just go and just do what they want to. They can't see, they don't have that creative direction. They can't see around them. They don't see what you see. So with knowing that and knowing all of these things that's going through my mind, my mind goes like a racetrack. Like all of these things go through my mind on every last photo shoot. When I pose a model, I'm looking at the area, I'm looking around, I'm seeing where the trash can is, I'm seeing where the fence is, I see the building, I see the light pole that's behind her. Like my mind is doing 1,000 things at one time, and I am looking for the absolute perfect pose and the location and the backdrop in order to get the shot that I want to. And I take like 50 to 100 something shots of photo shoot. I do this with every shot that I take. I'm like, okay, pose here, look around, there's a pole, there's a fence, there's a trash can, there's paper. Okay, take the shot. Then I do it all over again, unless I move locations or whatever. But my mind is doing this on every last shot in order to get the shot. And that's what it is. The last thing with this whole thing is your model. It's really, really important. You have to make sure that your model is able to step out of their comfort zone. You have to make sure that your model is able to get into character in order to get you the shot. Because if you get a model and they're just like, if they're not, if they're not giving you that energy, if they're not giving you the expression, if they're not giving you the pose, if they're laxy daisy with it, if they're not putting that look on it and that smiles, your pictures are gonna fall flat every time. I've stopped my photo shoots several times. I'll be like, yo, no, this ain't it. You're not giving me what I want. Ask my models. I have stopped several of my photo shoots. Like, no, that's not it. Like, I need you to give me eyes. I need you to give me, hands. And I am very meticulous when I pose, from head to toe. I'm talking about fingers, arms, elbows, eyes, head, neck, legs, knees. It don't matter. I pose them from head to toe. If anything is off, I was like, no, we gotta do it over. I'm very, very meticulous. So, and every photographer should be. That's how you get the shot. Make sure your model understands the understands the assignment, and you need to make sure that you do also. And in that way, you guys put your head together, and you won't miss. You won't miss you'll hit it every time. So that's it.
Right.
I know it's a lot, but that's how it is in the professional world, man. You got to be very meticulous.
Definitely. Now, as y'all all heard, now he broke that down pretty good. But see, that's you can listen to it, or you could go to his channel and you can watch it.
You
know what I mean? So you go to his channel, you watch it. It's every single time, and he got a ton of videos, a ton. We're gonna get out of here, but I like to end every single interview with this one question. Okay, so when it comes down to photography, now this is all opinion based. Okay, it's no right answer. It's what this means to you. All right, what do you feel is the most important thing when being a photographer to learn? What do you think is the most important thing?
The most important thing for
or I could even say most important skill, most important trait. Like, what is it that you feel is the number one thing that you need? Put you on the spot,
right? Man, you know what? Because there's so, like, being in the game and being in the industry now, there's so much. Like, when I first started out, what do you need to learn? Oh man, I will tell you what you don't need to learn. You don't need to learn editing. So if anybody tells you anything about editing, no, you don't need to learn that first. Heck no.
Right.
So we gonna take editing out the board. Oh my God. I think honestly, I'm gonna say your equipment. You need to learn your damn equipment. There's been too many, especially if you're an on-location photographer. There's been too many times where people have invited me to a photo shoot, and the sun changes and that's the thing. The on-location photography is like the most challenging thing because you're not in a studio where it's a controlled environment. Being outside is a very uncontrolled environment. You can't control the wind. You can't control the sun as it's moving, dipping through clouds, or getting darker at night. Exactly. Yeah. Being outside is a very uncontrolled environment. So when you see these shots that we get outside, trust me, there's a lot that goes into it. However, I've been on too many shoots with photographers where the environment starts to change and they have no idea. I mean, well, not necessarily no idea. It takes them way too long, and the model's just standing there. It takes them way too long to get their new settings or to get the new shot. They have to get there, re-expose. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, maybe I need to move my light. Okay, it's getting darker now. Oh my God, the sun is moving too fast. So you need to learn your equipment. That will be the first thing that I say. Stop continually buying newer and newer cameras thinking that you're going to get a better picture. Stop buying more and more camera lenses and newer freaking lights and everything thinking that you're going to get better shots. You need to learn your equipment, and you need to learn like with the stuff that you already have. It's not about buying new equipment. I can take my A6000 in a speed light outside and probably rival people that have $4,000 setups, because it's not about the equipment at one point in time. It's just about your knowledge and knowing lighting and knowing your equipment. That's what it's about. So you need to learn your equipment. That's my biggest thing. Learn what you have first and then move on. That's what I would say.
All right. And there you have it. Honestly, you are the first person that gave that answer. This is the part that's crazy. Everybody I had gave different answers.
Okay, right.
So we had exposure triangle. We had I thought you was gonna say posing. I really thought you was gonna say posing.
You got to learn other stuff before you start posing.
Right, and then we had composition was one, which I guess you could. Well, that's kind of sort of posing, but that's also you get in the right angle.
Well, you got to remember though, composition. A lot of people think composition is just like posing. If you look up, this is why I do photography. If you looked up composition is everything. All right. Composition ain't just one thing. Composition, when you set your composition is your lights, Composition is your backdrop, your environment, the place that you're shooting at. Composition is your model. There is like 20 different. Composition is like a Long Island iced tea. It's like a bunch of liquors in one. There's a bunch of things that go into composition to say the word composition. When I say look at my composition, you're looking at the whole entire picture. The whole entire picture makes composition, not just one thing. And a lot of people get that mixed up. So yeah, it's that whoever said composition, no, it's not composition. No, it's not. I mean, well, it's your opinion, so I can't really. But the hell no, it's not. But go ahead. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead on and get out of here. Thank you so much, man. Hopefully, I get you in here in the future, man. Again, because you got so much stuff to keep on. But if y'all interested, make sure you check out his channel. As I said, plenty of videos, plenty of things you can learn from. And until next time, peace.
We out.
We out.